Squeak! Good girl, squeak! Squeak it! Come on, squeak for the camera! Come on, squeak it! Get it, get it, get it! Nope. Done squeaking. You only got tail end of squeaks. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and disembodied voice Justin, and disembodied squeaking voice Kiri. So, yay! I'm on such short sleep today, it's going to be fun. It should be fun all day, because I'm going to try to do my stream this afternoon, too. So, yay! Yay, everybody! I'm not Chipper Val. I'm on, really, couldn't get to sleep for an hour when I went to bed kind of night. That kind of night. Oh, Pike was interested in those squeaks. Yeah, Kiri's favorite toy is her squeaky ball. So we have a stockpile of squeaky balls that I bought with Twitch money. Thank you all. And greenies and dog treats. Kiri got all sorts of stuff, and she's gonna I need to order her some more jerky, because we got to use up. We swore we would use Twitch money to buy Kiri treats and toys, so that's what we're gonna do. And maybe she needs a new dog blanket too. But anyway, Twitch is good to us. The better Twitch is to us, the more life of luxury Kiri gets to lead. Hello, Night SOS. I think you're new. Or if you're not new, you have not talked to us before. So, hi, welcome. I'm Anne. I'm not usually quite this woo. Sometimes, it's like when you get less sleep, sometimes you get, the less sleep feeling, and sometimes you get the less sleep hyper, but your brain has, no focus. I'm like that. I'm like squirrel, 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 squirrel. That's what Anne is today. Yes, sleep deprivation often mistaken for chipper. No, not drunk in my case, since I don't really drink much anymore. I have a little, very, very small glass of wine on occasion. I use booze for cooking, but then you just get the flavor, you don't get the high. So, but yes, good morning. Let us go. Let's just get to it. All right, I decided, guys, that I was sick of having a bunch of models that were close to finished but not finished. So I thought that for the rest of this week, since Cloud Giantess was really a one-off, that I would concentrate on actually finishing some things. Yeah, squirrel, exactly. Squirrel emote for the win, please. I like that squirrel emote. I should put a squirrel emote. I need a squirrel emote maybe for my stream. But yeah, so Juliana is, in this, perilously close to done state. Yo, Coobs. I love to cook with wine, and sometimes yes, I am a fan of the Julia Child and Alton Brown School of Cooking, which is, if you can use alcohol to cook with, why on earth wouldn't you? That, I believe, is a direct Alton Brown quote from Good Eats. And, of course, Julia Child, actually, I always loved her as a kid, and she refueled my my passion for cooking when I went keto, because weirdly French food is very capable of being very keto if you drop the potatoes and peas out, because a lot of it is meat with simple sauces and things like that, and a lot of butter. So there you go. No French pastry for me, but yeah, the rest of it. So yeah, learned. Julia Child is responsible for me actually learning how to roast a chicken, and from there I managed to figure out how to cook other meat. So I would pretty much say that David would not eat nearly as well if not for Julia Child. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I always used a lot of butter. When I went on ketogenic diet for the first time, I over buttered, and now I'm trying to stick to more healthy oils. I'm trying to stick, saturated fat's kind of a neutral in your system if you're in ketosis, but I do want to concentrate more on avocado and olive oil, things like that. So I'm not nearly as heavy butter as I was last time around. This time around. But yes, butter is definitely a staple of certain nationalities' cooking, so I do use it when it's appropriate. I just try not to go too overboard. There we go. Let's see here. Squirrel. There we go. Get some light on this subject. I'm going to use my little camera's light since she's tiny. All right, let's see here. We got to deal with this yellow. This yellow is just blocked in. I believe I used something like Golden Glow, or a mix of lantern and white, or candle and white, light yellow and white. I wonder if I have my Golden Glow in here somewhere. I may not have kept it in the box because it's so easy for me to mix. Sometimes it doesn't get to stay in my tray unless it's actually useful. So for those of you who wonder what my paint, my commonly used paint drawer looks like, it is very much like paints that I cannot easily mix. So that would be That'd be like the basic description of what is in my paint drawer. And I am going to use, not rich leather, I think I'm going to use polished leather for the shading on this yellow apron. Omelets are tasty. Yeah, and happily on keto, like wine is pretty much the only thing you can have if you're going to have booze. So yeah, all in all. Fat booze chocolate. Wow. Yeah, well, I guess she's popular then, Kerniko, right? Everybody wants permission to eat, like, fat booze and chocolate, so... I mean, technically, I eat a ton of fat booze and chocolate. Not booze anymore. Except for cooking, right? But I mean, I do eat a lot of fat. My diet is extremely high fat. And I do eat chocolate because I can find very low-carb chocolate, so... We're going to use polished leather for shading on this yellow. Probably going to cut it with a little bit of the standard yellow. So we're doing a little bit different than the other, like my painting yellow PDF that I just put out. Or was it a video? It was a video, I guess. My painting yellow video. Where I may have used rich leather for that. I don't remember. I've slept since then. And I have no brain cells today. This is where you get loopy in. Alright. Pardon me while I had to unclog my bottle. Now I must wipe off my pokey tool lest it get sullied like David's pokey tools, where he does not properly clean them and then they get all sorts of caked on paint, and then he goes and borrows mine. I bet. Yeah, I'd have to adapt it, Kuroniko, probably. Although, I'll have to remember. I'll ask again if I need the link to... Although I just bought 2 cookbooks, so I totally cannot buy. Like, I told myself yesterday after I bought the second one, I was like, all right, this is your treat for your 6th anniversary. No more spending money. Because I've been so good on my budget. So good. Since I got out here to California. Because you got to, right? You're not making any money, so you got to not spend any money. I don't want to dip into my savings. Like, I have an emergency fund for out here. I had an emergency fund for the move. And I hardly had to touch it. And I'd really rather keep that to be the reality. But I have a real weakness for cookbooks, especially because I'm cooking so much for David and I. So what I bought is what I really need is more seafood recipes. Because I can do all the Mediterranean seafood recipe. I mean, Mediterranean seafood is so freaking easy. You just like throw some lemon and olive oil and garlic at it and you're done. And basil sometimes, you know, your herb of your choice, really, parsley. What? Peacock is gone? Oh, MSP colors that have been retired from the weapon. What have been retired from what? Peacock is like, you know. What? Wow. You know... I know that Ed wanted to do cancellations. Peacock is not one of the colors that I would have recommended, but this is the problem sometimes, guys. Like, okay, so back in the day when we did cancellations, there were certain colors that I really, really pushed to keep, even though they were actually poor sellers. And some of those are things like the clear brights and the liners, because people at that time didn't really know how to use them, right? And now the clears sell pretty well, and so do the liners. But, you know, there's some other colors that maybe people just don't look at very much. If Peacock Green is going out of production, I suggest you buy a ton of it now. I mean, I assume that Reaper's going to sell through stock, so I'm going to go and order some. In fact, thanks for bringing that up. Was that on Reaper Live, or is there an official announcement somewhere, guys? Oh, there's a statement in the works. Oh, they're not there anymore? Well, that's kind of... Like, that's terrible. Like, you got to give people time to buy it. Well, guys, I guess that we're just going to have to try to push my Patreon up to, like, 12K then. Because 10 or 12K, I think, is the boutique paint line where I can afford to hire an accountant and make my own. At that point, I can bring back Peacock Green. Or something so similar or superior that you won't be able to tell the difference. I'm going to get my brown liner mixed up because I know I can see already that I need some lining on this. I need also a block. Pardon me while I take Dragonkin off of his block. I do. I've got like several videos shot for my Patreon guys. You're just gonna get a boatload of stuff at the end of the month. This month has just been freakishly hard for me. So I'm just like working on getting everything set up. We may be a day late on some of the content, but I hope not. I'm gonna try really hard to get it for you. Oh yeah. So I did actually. I mixed some candlelight and white together, and I got the yellow that I used for this apron. So that's good. Excellent. We can progress. And maybe even make it a little bit warmer. So yeah, let's see here. We're in focus. All right, good. No, I'm not interested in a GoFundMe. If I'm gonna do a paint line, like, it doesn't make sense for me to do anything. If Reaper wants to cancel Peacock Green, then Reaper's gonna cancel Peacock Green. But, maybe in the future. I always wanted to do some boutique paints, right, for myself, for my Patreon, but I just realized that the tax stuff with carrying inventory was more complicated than like I really want or can deal with right now. So I'm still kind of worried about my taxes, self-employment taxes and all the rest of it for the first year, because I know I'm going to take a bath. When you know that you're only really getting about 58% of your income, you kind of be cautious. But I mean, I would like to, and if I ever do get to the point where the Patreon is good enough that I can, afford to do that sort of thing and have a little bit of a cushion on it, because essentially at that point I really am a startup, right? I mean, I'm kind of a freelance startup right now, but it's all digital goods, and so it's it's a lot easier. But for me to handle physical goods and to work mixing into my schedule and all the rest of it, I would need to be making a fair amount of money. So we shall see. But the better I do on Twitch and on my own Twitch and on Patreon, the more likely that you may someday see it in boutique paint line. And at that point, much as it is the color I most hated to mix, I will attempt to bring back Peacock Green. Hey Darkstar, thank you for the resub. Speaking of resubs, subs on here help Reaper keep its streaming department going. Pretty much you help pay Justin's salary and mine for being here on Reaper. So we appreciate it. And every sub or resub on this show is a vote for the show. And so we reward you after 100 subs with a big giveaway and an AMA. And there are a ton of questions. Like, I'm almost afraid to look at the AMA thread. I'm just lining a bit more here around the chest, guys. A little bit. I think maybe the cast is a little bit rough here, and that's why I'm running into this roughness when I try to paint this tiny part up here. But that's all right. We can work with it. But yeah. Yeah, so it's a shame that there's some paints that are going out. I hope that most of them are not like intrinsic to my paint style, or I may have to, like, I don't know. I can mix most things, but some paints are unique. I'm trying to think if I could mix Peacock from scratch with what I've got. I think I could. Probably. It's just so hard to match stuff. Hey, Acid Burn Punk, how's it going? Hello, Dogfather. I still haven't decided what color to make her little hair tie. Have you realized this, guys? I just realized that she still has a blank hair tie. All right, let's do some shading on this yellow. I'm using Rich Leather. It's a very orange color, as you can see. It is really a very good leather shader. You generally want to use it for lighter yellows. And I really should actually mix up my pale yellow. I didn't go with a bright yellow for this because I've got light and pale and muted colors. Oh, all right. Good wet palette. I have no idea, Rignes. Somebody just told me about it. Somebody told me that actually the colors have gone away. Like, Reaper just stopped making them, which is a shame. I'd always hoped there would be some lead time for people to buy stuff. So if you have a bottle of something that maybe we need a paint trade channel. If somebody has a bottle of something that somebody else wants. I don't like that, actually. I think I'm gonna trim that up a bit. Got a little bit heavy with my lining over here, but that's just the way it goes. All right. Oh yeah, is it the new one? Is it the one with the white sponge acid burn punk and the wells are magnetized? That's a really nice wet palette. David has it. I've been thinking about getting one. I don't use a wet palette very often due to the fact that I layer a lot, but that one is very nice and looks like it would be very useful. My only wish was that they'd done ceramic wells instead of plastic for the traditional palette, but I'm sure that would have been a lot more expensive. All right, so in order to get any contrast on this yellow, we need to shade it pretty dramatically. Red Grass Games, yeah. Oh, you're just starting out to use a wet palette? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that some of them will come back for, special events. Well, guys, I don't know. I am no longer in charge of the paint department. And everything is in Ed and Sadie's hands now. So if you are really upset by it, I would recommend that you write to the company and let them know that you're really upset. Because if they don't hear that people are upset, they will just go ahead and say, well, we did this and they were fine with it before. Because, it's hard to get your voice heard sometimes. So if you're really upset, I would, advise you to let Reaper know that you're upset. Ask, that next time if they're going to do cancellations, you get some advance notice so the community can, purchase the colors or whatever. If you don't let them know, then you got no cause for complaint if it happens again, essentially. Yeah, and that does something. I mean, but Sadie is limited in what she can say. If it was an executive decision from Ed, who, he does watch the numbers and he watches the sales, and we get, our line is very large. It's very bloated. It definitely could stand some pruning. There's nothing Sadie can do. And telling Sadie that is just pretty much Sadie can just shrug and say, guys, I couldn't make the call. Ed is the one who made the call. So that's what I would have had to do in the old days if you guys would have sprung this stuff on me. I would have had to say, it wasn't, guys, I don't know. Can't do anything about it. It's a reality of retail, right? It's we have over 500 colors. Not all of them, a lot of them just don't flip. And some of the ones that don't flip could be really useful colors, but people just don't realize how useful they are in time, and then suddenly they're gone, right? And this happened with Ruddy Brown, which is still one of the most useful browns on the planet. But if it comes out for the Kickstarter and then it doesn't move, then it's gonna go the way of the dodo again, and there's not much I can do about it. Extinct paints. I mean, and yeah, sure, they could bring it back. Chestnut Gold is gone? Oh, no. Stained Ivory is gone? Swamp Green is gone? Whew. That's a big shame. Swamp Green is what I used on this base, guys. No other color in the line is like it. That's too bad. That's too bad. I wish they would have asked me. I would have liked to consult there are some colors in there that I could, point out how useful and unique they are, but,
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say, you can rest assured that I believe as far as the cancellations and stuff, I believe that was 100% an Ed decision. I don't think it was Sadie in any
Oh,
way.
I know. Yeah, no. It wouldn't have been a Sadie decision. Sadie is very good about keeping her head exactly where she's supposed to be, and she's supposed to be making colors and coming up with new colors and doing all that, right? And that's exactly that's Sadie's job. It's not Sadie's job to decide on this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not a Sadie decision. Ed is the one who tracks inventory, who looks at sales, who analyzes data. It's Ed's job to do this. So, I mean, I have no doubt that these colors weren't selling. I tried to promote many of them, like Swamp Green, on the stream because I definitely wanted to keep them in the line. Yeah, Jelly. Well, then you won't have to think too hard, right? Because there would be fewer choices. I mean, the good one to start with Jelly is the starter set. If you have the starter set, you're pretty good. That's the MSP. It's 11 colors, I think, and I made that one so that it would give you a good selection of colors just to start with. And then from there, you guys got, when you come up with something, like if you're painting something, you're like, wow, I really need a dark red. Make a note. I need a dark red. And then go look at reds on Reaper Paint and see, which red might be good, or ask around on, Facebook or the Discord, wherever you're on, to ask, I need a dark red to go with this red. What's the best option, or what options do you guys like? That's where using the Reaper social media can really help you. Or even my Discord if you're on there. I don't know if you're my patron or not, but anywhere you ask the Reaper community, people should be very helpful in helping you, tell you which colors they like to use. Maybe they could even show you an example of a model they painted with it. That's always really useful. So what I'm doing here, guys, see how heavy I've done this shading. However, look at how much more all the details stand out now. Yeah, good, Carrie Michael. Well, that thing's solid gold now, so be very careful with your swamp green. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, chestnut gold is a staple. See, that's why this is the problem with making decisions like only on sales and not also on usage, right? It's like some colors may not sell as much, and you may look at the line and say, well, there are other colors that are like this color, but they're very useful, right? Chestnut gold is almost a clear bright. It's a 2-pigment color. Is extremely useful for the balance of colors in it. Now, if you are looking for a sub for it, I would say polished leather. I would say the one that we're using this morning, 9430, should be your go-to. And were any bones colors canceled, guys, or are the bones line still intact? Do you know? There really isn't a sub for peacock green, sadly. But I would say that polished leather is red ink. Yeah, red ink needed to go. I'm sorry, the inks in general needed to go, actually, but whatever. Warm navy, soft blue. Yeah, not surprised. Bright skin triad. Well, we used that yesterday, guys, and now it's gone. Not surprised at the shadows. Regal purple. At least the other two are in print still. If they would have killed that whole purple triad, I would have been sad. That's too bad with Sandy Brown. Doug Cohen uses that a lot in his book. Dusky skin triad. So our second dark elf triad is gone. Ooh, blonde shadow is gone. Yeah, I would have liked to have a heads up on that, so I wouldn't have promoted it. Well, I mean, that's the problem, right? Okay, so Reaper canceled paint back in the day, and there was a big backlash. And so Ed, including a backlash from me, like, I really felt that it was a betrayal, of the consumer to just cancel colors that the consumer may have liked, like as long as they had a decent amount of sales. But I understand also that Reaper's paint lines are tremendously huge now, and we're running out of room. So I get it, right? I get both sides of the story. For me, I just wish there had been more notice so that I could get a few bottles of the paints that I really feel are really useful. But it is what it is, right? And like I said, if you really, really are unhappy about it, you have to communicate. Because I'm not in a position to really communicate. Ed knows that I don't like cancellations. Like if I go in and say, Ed, man, you canceled stuff, you didn't let me know, I'm really upset. Ed's gonna go, yeah, I knew you would be, sorry. But it's not like I've got a dog in the game anymore over there. I'm not in the paint department anymore. So Ed's gonna say, I had to cancel stuff. I went ahead and canceled stuff, and that's it. So it is what it is. The best you can do is to say that you wish that in my mind, like, there's no question that things had to be canceled. The only thing that I wish it was different was that we would have had time to get them. So, because Reaper definitely is running out of room. Reaper definitely had to do some cancellations. Like, even I had bowed to that eventuality and tried to find some working ways to deal with it. Yeah, I knew those were going. Oh, all the new bones. That's a sad. Oh, Maggot White is gone. You guys are gonna cry. So is Old West Rose. Okay, not surprised with the Cav. Not surprised with the others. Oh, okay. Well, if you can still buy stuff in triads, buy them now, guys. They only build limited amounts of triads. Oh, Redstone Triad is dead? Yeah, is there a link or something, guys, to this? If you can put up the link. There we go. Yeah, if things are still available in triads, they will be available in extremely limited numbers. So get your butts on reapermini.com this instant and go order what you need. And if it is still available, they will ship it to you. But I don't expect quantities to last. All right. Well, I did do the hair tie back here in yellow, so I think I'm going to do the lower hair tie in yellow as well. So notice, guys, like how nice that rich leather works as a shade for yellow. It is an orangey brown, so it's pretty much exactly what you need, and I've thinned it down so that it's a little bit less intense. If you leave it strong, it's going to go quite dark on you, probably too dark for a pale yellow like this. But when you thin it, you can get it to be a lot more subtle, and you can build it up in layers so that you can really bring out the tones here. It's actually not really straight, Hutch. They're actually a little wobbly. It's pretty easy though. You just do your initial line, which is probably pretty wobbly, but then you just like use extra paint to widen it out, and so you get to correct your edges and make them less wobbly. But I'm sure I've got a wobbly there, wobbly there. That one's not very straight. It just looks straight because the design is consistent. It's just an illusion. Just water Night SOS. I built these paints. I made the paint line, and they already have flow improver and stuff added to them. I only ever use water to thin. The only exception is if I'm doing some really fine freehand, at which point I might add some Reaper flow improver, a little extra flow improver to the mix, because it will, it helps break surface tension. So if I'm having a paint that's just a little bit stubborn, I'll just do that. Yeah. Yeah, well, Shadow Raven, I mean, just, express yourselves. Express yourselves. It's, if you don't tell him, I mean, don't be evil about it, but say, hey, I'm upset about this, I'm really sad you guys didn't give us a chance to buy these colors before they were out of print. Just be sure to communicate. I don't use distilled. Nani, the only way you need to use distilled water or spring water or bottled water or any of that stuff is if your local tap is really bad. If you have a high mineral content or you've got hard water, then you can use those other waters. But if you have like decent tap water, you do not need to use distilled. When I lived in Texas, the tap water was pretty like cruddy tasting, but it was fine otherwise. So I'd only ever use tap water. And here in California, my tap water is pretty good, so I just use it. Yeah, if you have hard water. Like if you have hard water is high mineral content. Usually you have to add water softener, and stuff like that. Oh, and let's see here. There we go. Now you guys can see. Alrighty, so we've got some of that. I need to get this hair tie and that hair tie. But yeah, I would definitely go on, if you guys are really concerned, I mean, definitely go on Reaper Live. You can always ask, right? You can always ask, hey, can you make just like a 1 gallon batch of these and sell out? Or, some of them are honestly such slow sellers, like Shadow Red, Shadow Violet. Like, there are a lot of names on that list that I'm not surprised at all. Some of them, like Dusky Skin, I tried to promote so that you guys would go out and buy it. But, I mean, we don't have, like, it's not like we've got thousands and thousands of people watching the streams, so there's only so much reach that I have to promote colors and get them kind of in the mental of my watchers. But yeah, I mean, so the best thing, I mean, I could probably make up some mixes when we have the full list. It's not the Gory Red Triad, although it's good. Did they keep the... I mean, it's actually, I thought the Gory Red Triad was better than the Carnage Red Triad, but you could shift to that. Yeah, if you get lime scale in your pipes, or if you get water deposits when you put like water in vases for flowers. Well, yeah, the fact that they took it completely out of the store like puzzles me actually, because that's I would expect what they did, just like you said, Valfera, that they would have a fire sale to bust out stuff. But what they may have done instead, guys, is they may have told Sadie, just stop making these colors when you run out. Or they may have decided that the paint batch was so old because it hadn't flipped that it was no longer, viable. I can't really see that, but they could relabel all those as samples. I don't know. I mean, I'm not there, so I have no idea. I can think of the things that we could do, or they could do with it. Now I'm putting some shadow on that sleeve, see? Just a little bit of this thinned polished leather. Oh, and forever, I think it was Knight or whoever just said the stripes were cool. There's this entire model was done on stream, so you could look back under her item number 44017 on the VODs on Reaper YouTube. You should be able to find her. Reaper John said a statement is coming. Yeah, I have no idea, guys. People are just seeing what's missing in the store. Yep. Sounds like it's all core and not bones, which is good. Well, I mean, beech nuts, the thing is that it's already bottled. Like, we put a date on the bottles, and then we look at the flip. Like, how long it takes a batch to flip. And some paints were already being reduced in the amount that we produce in batches. So, but it's not going to be bad. Like, it's just not going to be optimal. Like, the thing I always tell people is that if you want the freshest paint, always go to Reaper and order straight from Reaper, because that's where you're going to get the freshest batch, where stuff in game stores, you don't know necessarily how long it's been around. But that said, our paint lasts in bottles for years and years and years. So really what we're talking about is not that the paint has gone bad in the bottle, but that just that the paint may have been sitting there for 3 years, at which point you're already 3 years into its lifespan. So suggest stop talking about this until, yeah, let's just drop it. I already gave you guys my opinion. Everything else is just speculation. I don't think they care about the backlash, Val. I think they're just trying to formulate a policy on what they're going to do. Ed said Bones and Pathfinder lines weren't me. Yeah, Pathfinder, you can't unless you get Paizo's okay to cancel. Like, when you've got a licensed line, guys, you're usually, if you're going to cancel, you're going to cancel the whole line. I hope that doesn't happen. But this is, I guess, a note to y'all. If paint cancellations are again a reality at Reaper, what you should do is go out now and pick up an extra bottle of any paint that you really like. Especially if it's kind of an odd color. Stuff like blood red isn't going away anytime soon. Those popular sellers. The first 54 Master Series tend to be pretty solid. And Bones has been pretty solid, but I mean, if there are any like colors that you really like, just get an extra bottle next time you place an order. Because that's gonna, one, it's gonna help their sales, and two, that way if something happens, you've got your bottle. Every bottle of this stuff has 400 drops, so and it's gonna last you for a while. All right, so I'm really not using pure candlelight here. I'm mostly using polished leather, and then I'm using my mix of candlelight and white, and I'm because I still want this to be a pale yellow. I don't want it to be a true yellow, and it's gotten very rich up here, but I'm bringing back highlights to knock it down. Oh, do we have a... Okay, thanks, Ron. Thanks for that. Yeah, we weren't sure. I figured not, because Bones is a good line that sells well. I'm not surprised at most of the cancellations. So there were a couple that I'm like, oh no, but that's just me. I just have to figure out my next favorite color. All right, so I'm adding in some white. I'm going to turn off this light and see if I can get a little bit more, yeah, like it actually looks like. There we go. So you can see the white highlight now down there on the bottom. I do want this to be a very, very pale yellow, so I'm highlighting it almost up to pure white. Just a little bit of apron that's going to catch the light there. No, it's okay for bringing it up. Nobody was aware. I wasn't even aware. So, I mean, it's good to know. Now if I get feelings or if I get questions about it, like say on my private stream, I can definitely field them, which is always appreciated. So the news bulletin is appreciated. Yeah, but at this point, we just wait for the official news announcement. And then react to that. That way when you've got some actual confirmation of how things are going to happen. I know some people get real stressed out by this stuff, so we'll spare them. All right, so we've got some nice things. Hey, Ron, do you want this mini, by the way? I was thinking I would send this one to you when she was done, Juliet. Or Juliana. I didn't know if we had one in the gallery, and if you wanted mine. Since I've got you, I can just ask. I think she turned out really well. I still need to finish the flowers and the hedgehogs. We're trying to finish her this week, so. Hell yes? All right, good. All right, yeah, I'll mail her then to you when I do my next, like, mail out of things. I'll let you know by email or text that she's in the mail when she is. But we'll finish her this week then. I didn't know if you had a really good one of her or not. I do want to send Reaper a couple pieces from time to time, just because I really appreciate all the help that you guys have given me. Doing this stream and still being employed by Reaper is really valuable to me, so the least I can do is say thank you by giving you a pretty mini every once in a while when I actually finish something on stream, which is rare. You win. Yes. Good. Thanks, Beach Nuts. Yes, you win. You get the Juliana. So, yeah, like I said, she's very, very close to done. We're just working on the yellow today. I'm going to work a bit. I need to work a bit on leaves and figure out what color the flowers are and finish the back of the scythe, but that's easy. So, yeah, but I'll work on her this week then and finish her up. She's a cute little thing. She is a cute little thing. Yeah, we got little leaf, too, to figure out what little color I might put on him. Maybe some speckles. Make him look unusual. Maybe I'll put little red speckles on him so that he's really suspect. Danger. Alrighty. You're welcome, Ron. It's all good. Can I trade it for some peacock green? I think peacock green will not be able to be found for love or money. I'm just going to have to figure out how to mix it, guys. Working from my experience, my vast experience, or something. OSL from the leaf. Really a bad position for OSL night. And the reason is if I make this leaf glowing, for one thing, she's in bright sunlight. Like I brought up really bright highlights on her dress, her hair, and on this yellow. And what that says is she's in full light. Unless you've got an immensely magical glow that's just like, you can't overpower sunlight. Like it doesn't read really well. If she was in dusk, like Snake Lady being in kind of in darkness, with only her light source above her, Snake Lady can get away with that sort of thing. But because it's dark out, right? It's dark and you can see kind of the blue shadows. And you can see that the fire is the main light source. But Juliana is painted like she's out in a clearing. So the glowing effect just doesn't it doesn't make sense. The other reason not to do it on this model is that when you've achieved stuff that you really like, effects that you really like, a face you really like, hair that you really like, the last thing you want to do is make a glowing thing. It's going to totally change the color of all that. If you think about it that way. It's like, at that point, you're like, oh, I've just screwed up everything that I loved before, and now I don't. Snake Lady's not done yet. I need to demo Greg Zuniga's ferns on her around. She's got to get a lot of foliage on her base and a water effect. I was thinking about working on her a bit this week, too. This is kind of like Anne wants to finish some models week, so we'll get to her. Peacock green is people. People would, yeah. But as I said, guys, now go, yeah, night. If I want to do a glowing effect night, what I usually do is I start out with that, in mind. So like Wraith Lady is another one. You can't have this one, Ron, because David really likes her. But I need to finish her too. But yeah, so I started out knowing I was going to do a glowing effect on the graveyard stones here. So I knew I was going to do it. I knew I was going to have glowy kind of tendrils coming off of her. And things like that. So when I'm going to do a lighting effect, I don't decide it at the last minute. I always kind of go into the model going, like, when I paint this Dark Sword gal, when I finish her up, because I do want to paint her, I'm going into this model knowing that this is going to be glowing. And so as I paint, I'm going to keep that in mind. It's just a whole lot better than doing so much work and then throwing a glow on it. Just have David paint another one for you. Ah, I see. But yeah, so excellent. Oh, hold on, where is my knife? I have a little bit of flash on the end of this leaf and it's annoying me every time I see it. Come on. And of course I have no compunction about just slicing little bits off of bones there. Can't believe I missed that. That's like an obvious one, but every once in a while it happens. So, all right, let's see here. I need to continue. I need to get the shading up on the little yellow one there. So, yeah. So, once we have a full list of canceled colors, guys, what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll tell you the closest color. There won't be an exact match. There never is. But there may be a color that can be used similarly that's very close. Like I said, for the chestnut gold, the 9073, 9430 is a really good sub for that. It's not exactly the same color. It's actually a bit more transparent. And it's made more with yellows and less with ochres, but it's close, and I use it for the same things that I would use 9073 for. So I can do that for you once we have a full list. I can see if there's anything close and recommend it for you. And who knows, it may, give you a new favorite paint. Like, if there's a color that is close to X, Y, or Z that you haven't tried or might not have been aware of, and then you try it and you actually really love it, then that's great. So that's, I think, the best possible outcome. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've got somebody painting the new Cloud Giantess, Ron. I don't know if you gave away the... I was going to contact you and ask you if there's any Bones 5 stuff that you want painted that I can use on stream, because I'd like to promote it. I'm actually looking to place a Reaper order for some new models to work on, because I want to draw some of these guys to a close and start on some new stuff. So if you have any cool Bones 5 whatevers, I'll drop you an email. But that would be cool. I mean, everybody loves that Cloud Giantess, so I was pretty sure you already had somebody painting her. A cage match between... yeah, oh, that's right. Erin was going to paint it, right? Oh, Corporea would win. She fights way dirty, you can tell. Like, I'm just way too fair. Yeah, Corporea would... I'm nice. I'm also just too nice. And I like Corporea, so I'd probably let her tromp all over me. Unless she really got me mad. But Corporea, the thing is that Corporea wouldn't like talk dirty. She'd just smile sweetly and then she'd own you. I mean, I've watched this woman drink other people under the table. She's never ever, not a nice person. She's never bad. She just comes up, smiles nicely, and then destroys you. That's Corporea. The only contest I ever have the hope of winning against Corporea is a painting contest. Well, let me know if you get an extra Yefima then, Ron, and we'll see what we can do. People want me to paint something with a lot of skin, so that's what I was thinking about. And the old sculpt just isn't that awesome as the new one. Yeah. Ah, okay. She is small but mighty. Yes, that's Corporea. For sure. Well, good. She'll do a very good job on Yefima. I might just have to wait, guys. All right, so we got our yellow. We've got, remember, we need that. We need contrast. Can't just do a bright band of yellow with no contrast. So we've got some of our rich leather, or our polished leather to darken up this a little bit, and then we'll pop some highlights on it. Wasn't planning on doing painting yellow today, but I guess it turned into painting yellow. And it is slightly different from my other yellow since it is a light yellow. Yeah, the Storm Giant is just, I bet well, that's the Zeus one, right? Yeah, he's really huge. He's huge! But I thought Michael Proctor might be taking him. If I recall correctly. I don't know, it's been a while. I've slept since then. Alrighty. Now we just do some quick highlights on our yellow. We're going to use pure white, maybe mixed with just a little bit of our candlelight yellow. I'll just probably put a little bit more pure white into this mixture over here. Or mix some yellow into my white. Yeah, let's do that. Mixing some yellow into my white. Just a little. I don't want this cloth to be as shiny as the other cloth, because it's an apron, so it's probably more rough, but... Oh yeah, Corporea is. I thought Ron did have extra dimensional spaces already, because we just got, like, what, a new building or two? So hasn't Ron's office space expanded into those new spaces yet? Like, you would think that Ron's extra office and Ron's extra office and maybe Ron's extraterrestrial office would also, you know, now be in existence. Yeah, we should do, actually, Ron, we should do that Monique Denoir bust that I suggested, where she's got her hands, she's crouching down, she's got her hand on the map in front of her. I've always loved that Izzy art. It would make a perfect bust, and it'd be very unique. So I vote for Monique with her her map. I think it's Monique. Don't remember. All right, a little bit of white, just a little bit, touches here and there, just to bring stuff up. A little bit, just to bring it up to the level of everything else. Tiny touches. Use a tiny brush with a tiny tip, or at least a tiny tip. If it isn't a tiny brush, it needs to have a tiny tip, because these little details really need just a little touch. You don't want to cover the whole thing with white. You just want to, like, hit the top edge or a couple of little details, a couple little blips. Yeah, the difficulty is getting good art for busts, I think. But that Monique piece has been so cool for so long. And it is just her upper torso and head with the map on the table in front of her. So it would be cool. A Bone Sylvanian bust. I don't know. It looks like I'm gonna be doing for my paint along on my Patreon the huge Chibi Mononoke, and that's like 110 millimeters. That's a monster. So I don't know if big chibis will work, but I'm about to find out, everybody. So there's some. That's gonna be an interesting paint, because I've painted like one chibi in my life, and I've never painted one that large. Like, there's no detail on a chibi. So we're going to have to be really inventive. And I have an idea. But it's going to be an exploration project for sure. Well, chibi, I'm not afraid of it. It's just like, but the problem is, it's just like somebody brought up, is like, how much can I teach you on something like that? And my initial impulse is to go very, very experimental with it. So y'all might be in for more than you bargained for. But, you know, I warmed you up with that Dragon Kim bust. It wasn't that hard. So, maybe we'll go a little crazy on if you guys really want Chibi Mononoke, You're going to get what you asked for in spades. Well, it is, but there's a lot of open space. It's the simplicity too, Chibi Amy. There's a certain simplicity to Chibi. Yeah, the problem with Mononoke, guys, is we got to make sure that people in Europe can get her. We've got to figure out something, whether it's one of us ordering a bunch of them and then shipping them over so that they can save on shipping. Stuff like that. Valandar, thank you for the resub. Awesome. And thank you for converting Freestyle. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Remember, every sub is a vote for the show. Every sub adds toward our next AMA. And we desperately need to get to our next AMA because there's lots of questions. All right. Yeah, Chibi, just keep on that if you would. I would really appreciate you taking the lead on that. Because being the end of the month, I'm super busy. Yeah, look at Nerd House minis, Korniko. They've got a giant Chibi Mononoke on the wolf, mounted on the wolf. It's huge. It's pretty adorable, but I did not realize at the time that it was so big. Like, okay, I mean, let's scare ourselves, guys. Well, how big is 110 millimeters? Ooh, she is... Hold on, I'm gonna have to zoom out just to encompass this. She is... taller. Is she taller than my palette? She's not taller than my palette, but she comes like within an inch and a half of being taller than my palette. Yeah, she's huge. Like, that's 8.5 inches tall. We're gonna have a lot of space on that paint along. All right, let's get close. Oh, that's cool, Shadow. You don't have to hurry. Extra arms for all the social media. Yeah, I know. Like, I feel the same way. All right, so we've got our yellow. I think our yellow is pretty much good. I maybe need a little bit more up here on the top of her collar. That's gotten a little bit dark. Need to just bring out, make sure that you've got the highlight there. Everything works together. Oh, it's Nerd House. If she's still winning, I was gonna end the poll shortly, probably at the end of this week. Or actually, I should end it on Wednesday because it's the last day of the month. But if she's still in the lead, yeah, Nerd House Minis, which is a 3D printing company. I don't know who originally sculpted her. Is Nerd House sculptor? One assumes not. But yeah, that is for my $15 a month tier, we will be doing, if she's still in the lead, we will be doing that. We will be going there, guys. It'll be fun. Fun and weird. And I'm thinking that we're going to paint a chibi like nobody has painted a chibi before. Like I said, you asked for it. If I go some weird places with this... Alright, I think that yellow is looking really good, actually. I may need to pale it up a little bit. It got very warm. And I don't want it to be the first thing people see. So if I want to wash it out, what I need to do is put a glaze on it. And I probably want to use the pale yellow that I was originally working with. So I want this color, which is a little bit lighter than Golden Glow. Doing light glazes can be very difficult because, you know, it's an opaque paint, so getting it go to the level of transparency that you need means that you can knock it way down with water. And Ella Art or Eddie the Cross Ditter. All right. So let's see here. So anyway, if we can figure out the original artist who did the model, that's the person to contact probably to ask if they use a European printer. So this whole age of people making a business out of printing other people's models is fascinating. Alrighty, so let's do our glaze. So it is water. And the problem with the glaze is that, you know, it's going to be opaque. It's going to be hard to make it be really smooth. So... Tara is leading again, Polaris? Man, we go back and forth. I'm going to have to do both. Like, I've actually thought that this might be the case. Is that I reserved the right to do like the top two choices if they kept trading. They keep trading places. All right, so we're gonna take. You want it when you do a glaze. You want a big brush with a lot of paint in it. There's actually quite a bit of paint in it. It's wet all the way up, and you want to go from one edge to the other, and then you want to wick off the excess water or the excess paint really quick. The other way to do it is to just paint a thin layer over everything. But I am going to do that. Wick out my brush. I've got some pooling here in the recesses. I'm going to just tap my brush very lightly to get that pooling off of there. You never want to touch the main surfaces when you're working with a light glaze. It's just too easy to leave holes and brush strokes. Yeah, that would be cool. Bombshell is USA, but I'm sure that shipping to Europe is going to be pretty expensive for our European backers. So we'll have to work it. We'll work something out, hopefully. Maybe I can work out a deal with Patrick. Who knows? That might be cool. Maybe maybe our European people can buy the 3D file and pay a local service to print. I mean, is that a possibility? I don't know. I'm so noob on this. Can you hire somebody to print your 3D file is the question, I guess. All right, so I want to bring this up just a little bit more. Gonna do a quick glaze on this. I've got a big puddle, so I've got to bring my brush back in. Wick it off. If you're gonna wick it off with light glazes, I recommend going on like the inside surface to pull it off. Never touch up here, or edges. Miss LDN, that's a great question. Painting miniatures is best as a part-time job. Especially starting up. So, as somebody who does do it for a living, I can tell you that it's a lot of hard work to make a living at it full time. And I have a kind of a foot ahead. Does your wife do any have any social media platform for it? How well known in the community is she? Things like that. So, okay, you can easily start up and make part-time money from selling on eBay, from doing, a miniature painting on Twitch, or, doing a Patreon, or all of the above. But it is you got to treat it like a business. Probably the easiest way to make a bit of money at it is eBay and things like that, where you can paint something, put it up. You've got to be fast and good. If you're going to make a success at that, there's two ways to do it. I guess fast or good will work. I know people who make a living at it because they do armies and they use airbrushes and they're very good at painting fast, or they've got assistants that help them with it. And I know people like myself who made their name doing high-end models, fewer models, but very well painted models, and getting paid thus commensurately more per model. I think it's an expensive day. And Etsy, okay. Thanks, Sethany. Yeah, so there's a couple different platforms where you can sell painted minis if you just want to sell painted minis. I'm not sure these days which is better. I personally got my start on eBay, but that was a long time ago. I know a paint club friend of mine who I encouraged to do eBay actually is doing fairly well at it. What you do is if you're going to go that route, you use eBay and or Etsy to leverage commissions. Essentially, people get to like your stuff, and then they ask you if you'll paint something particular for them. Commissions are usually better money, as you can set your price. And if you build a reliable stable of buyers, then you can do it that way. There is, much like writing, there is no one road to success with this. I personally started my Patreon because I've wanted to have one for ages, and have worked for almost 2 years on building my Patreon, and it's still only probably part-time money at this point, so I supplement it with a lot of other stuff like commissions and selling models. And if she's getting commission requests, I mean, she needs to set up rules, Miss LDN. Like, you got to treat it like a business. So you got to have a contract, right? Like, you want half money in advance. You will, send work in progress photos. You have a deadline that you stick to. Be professional about it. It is possible, but tell her it is a lot of work. I mean, I worked my butt off since I went freelance, and I'm managing. It also depends, of course, on, where you live and how much your bills are per month. She really needs to do more than anything. She needs to figure out exactly how much money she needs to live each month. And then, and that includes putting aside money for retirement or what have you. Remember that you're going to lose 20% off the top flat, to self-employment taxes, which essentially cover your Medicare and your Social Security. So right away, in addition to any federal taxes you may owe, you are going to also owe that 20% self-employment tax, and you're going to owe, your state taxes if applicable, things like that. So do kind of be aware of that, because some people think, oh, yay, all my money, and in reality, you lose a very large portion of that to taxes when you're self-employed. Oh, cool. The 3D print and paint. I just saw that. I've missed your name because I missed the chat is not scrolling for me for some reason. Scroll for me, chat. Scroll. Oh, the last white kid. Yeah, that's cool. That's I figure. I'm interested in this this whole business thing. Well, Liquid Nebula, if you're asking about the business of it, I mean, I started doing Games Workshop because there was a lot of demand for well-painted generals and leader models. Fiverr's not good for painters. No, Fiverr's not, because people when people go to Fiverr, they're looking for a deal. Hands down. So you're not going to get paid what you're worth. Never, as an artist, get in the trap of not getting paid what you're worth. Ever. It's really, all of us do it, and all of us regret it. Yeah, people think that, yeah, I mean, do tell her about the taxes. Be aware of the taxes. And that changes everything. When you only really get, 50 to 60% of your income, you have to make that much more income to make as much as you make at a real job, quote unquote. So what I would always recommend is, if you're going to do this, well, ideally you build your market a bit before you quit your real job, and you should always keep a part-time job. If you keep a part-time job, then you've got money coming in every week. And you depend on that very heavily when you don't have commissions, because commission can dry up, or maybe the model that you thought was going to sell really well doesn't sell, or a bunch of them. Maybe you have a streak of models that don't sell for as much as you'd like. You've got to be responsible about it. And it can be stressful also. She should ask herself, is she stressed about money? Does she tend to stress about money? If you tend to stress about money, and you don't have a big savings account that you're gonna kind of have as a backup just in case things go south, something to make you feel better about doing this, something to make you feel like if a medical emergency comes up, do I have the money to pay for a surgery? If my dog bloats, do I have $4,000 to give to the emergency vet? Stuff like this. It's not fun to think about, but it's the real business part of it, right? So I put aside a lot of money so that I would be good to try this. And I also work part-time still for Reaper. So I have a weekly, it's a small check, but I have a weekly check coming in. And then I also diversified over a ton of platforms. So I've got my Twitch, which is doing actually pretty well for me. And I've got, the Patreon, which is my main source of income. I've got commission work that I do for companies and individuals that help to supplement that, stuff like that. It's a business. It's fun, and you're doing your art for a living, and that's the awesome part. But it's a business. And if you want, go back and watch the VOD of this afterwards. Freeze me talking about this and have her listen to me. I don't want to be discouraging because I mean I made a success of this. I'm very happy with where I am right now, and as the Patreon grows and everything, I get happier and happier. But it is a lot of work. It's taken me a long time. I started the Patreon in 2018 December, and we're almost to 2018 or 2020 December, so it's almost been 2 years, and I still, if you deduct for taxes, you see how little I'm making. But I'm squeaking by. I'm squeaking by with everything, but I'm happy that I'm squeaking by. I was worried that I would hemorrhage money and have to, give it up, but it's working, so I'm pretty happy. It's a hustle. It is, Night SOS, right? It is, and there's only you. Got to ask yourself serious questions about your work ethic, and how organized you are. Like, I'm continually terrified because friends of mine tell me that I'm one of the most organized people they know, and that scares me because I feel like I could be even more organized. Sometimes in this business, it feels like I'm not. So there we go. We've got it a little bit lighter. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like this model now. I think maybe I might have to intensify the purple a little. No, I'll try to glaze it one more time. I'm trying to bring this yellow lighter so it doesn't get too warm and attract all the attention. But yeah, I mean, it's full of pitfalls and it's full of rewards. Like, if you have an entrepreneurial streak and you've wanted to try this for a while, or she's wanted to try this for a while, and she's seriously given it some thought, and she has a backup plan, like she has a plan for emergencies, a financial plan for emergencies, and hopefully it doesn't involve just charging up credit cards. I failed. I tried this years ago, guys, and I failed at it pretty much. At least I feel like I failed at it. So I've done all the bad things that you shouldn't do. There we go. Now I think that this is light enough. I think it's washed out enough now that it's not going to fight. Not going to fight with the purple and blue. But yeah, you gotta know going in. There's an anxiety thing. There's, real stuff to think about. Yeah, Bug Lips. I mean, and by we, I mean, like Marika Reimer, Jennifer Haley, myself, probably the top echelon of miniature painters that I know who do commissions or have done commissions. We learned a long time ago about that rule, because we were all charging X, and then one of us started charging Y that was almost double X, because she didn't want more commissions, and she figured if she raised her rates that people would go away. And people just kept paying, so she realized that essentially she shorted herself out of like double the salary for years. So yeah, tell her to figure out her hourly also on models. Like, how many hours does it take her to paint a model to the standard that her clients will accept? How much per hour does she want to get paid? Do the math. Figure out if anybody's going to take that. It's like, and she may need to work on getting better. Like, she may need to maybe subscribe to a couple of Patreons or watch a lot of YouTube videos, or, I also recommend books on keeping a positive mindset, entrepreneurialism, keeping organized, all of these things. Keep yourself in that mindset. I'm still not at the level I want to be with my daily organization. Like, I'm getting closer. She's unemployed. We're fortunate enough that my profession takes care. Okay, all right. She wants to be self-employed and make art the main focus? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well then you're kind of, yeah, so I have much the same case. When I moved out here, I have a very old dog, and I really couldn't have afforded to go out and get a real, 8-hour-a-day job, plus COVID in the middle of everything, right? So I wasn't going to get a real job. And I'd already decided I wanted to make a run at this. So a year before, I had my Patreon going for over a year before I moved. I had a goal in mind that I wanted the Patreon to be at before I moved. And I worked toward that goal. So yeah, add a pandemic, right? So it's hard to get a job again. Right, and or maybe you're health compromised, like my immune system. Yeah, who knows, right? I've gotten diagnosed and in and out of the hospital with stuff. So then you don't know if you even want to go into a real job. But at any rate, yes, since she's unemployed, this is a great time for her to utilize this time to work on her freelance stream. And to build the infrastructure, because she has the time. She has the time to read the book. She has the time to learn how to build a website. She has the time to work on her photography skills, because that's key with miniatures. She has the time to to look at taxes and what she's going to have to do to file taxes quarterly. She has the time, because you have to when you're self-employed. The IRS frowns at you if you do not file your quarterly taxes. estimated taxes. And, you know, she's got the time to try to get herself on a stable schedule. Like, that's worth its weight in gold. You can't go into every day just going, what do I feel like doing today? You got to treat it like a job. You got to say, okay, so morning I do this, morning I stream. You know, for me, the day goes something like morning I stream. Then I have to take Kiri out and like figure out, you know, do my Patreon email, do my Discord. Then I go and I do my lunch, make sure I get Kiri taken care of, eat lunch with my guy. And then right after that is when I do writing. So PDFs, you know, stuff like that. I have a lot of PDFs to do. That's when I do all that. And then after that, I stream again or I do commission work. So, you know, I've got my day laid out in these chunks and it's a predictable schedule. And that's what works. That's what makes the work get done. Yeah. Oh, as someone at Dragon Con teaches a business class for artists. I bet you could find that online. I bet you could find something about it online. It's not as complicated as it sounds, but most people, I find, most artists have never even thought about that part of it. They would love to be their own boss because I think it goes with the artistic temperament to want to be your own boss. And then they get frustrated with the other part of it. Now, if you have a bit of money put aside, you could always hire somebody to take care of the business portions for you. I mean, that is a thing. Or if you get successful enough to think that. Like, that's how I always joke. If my Patreon gets to a certain level, I'll be able to hire somebody to deal with, like, inventory, like the taxation stuff I have to worry about with inventory. Hire a business manager. So I won't have to worry about that, and I can still concentrate on the good stuff. But that's going to take a while of growing the Patreon before I can afford to pay somebody for that. So... yeah, this is all... I mean, I love to talk about the business side of it because I did it unsuccessfully many, many years ago, and now I'm doing it successfully. And the difference is day and night. Yeah, that's nice, Ethany. Yeah. I'm still doing all my own taxes and tracking all my own stuff, but then I'm not tracking inventory. I don't have any physical goods, right? Just digital. So... yeah. David uses like TurboTax and something, but GoDaddy is interesting. I'll look into it. Well, Lowfly, my camera is awesome, but it's expensive. I mean, I started out just using like a 920C Logitech, but the problem is you're never going to get this close. So, so you can use a Logitech, but you'll have to mess around with the software, the Logitech gaming software, to fix your focus, to make sure that, you know, everything looks good. This is a document camera, so I use the iPivo VZ-X. They also make a version that's not wireless. So, you know, you can go and look at document cams. The nice thing about document cams is you can get this close and in focus and see the little details. You do need to worry about, like, lighting. You need a couple of good lights on either side of you. I see a lot of people make mistakes that way. And you need a good neutral background so that your model isn't always looking too dark or too light. So those are the things that you want to look at. Like, so it's not just camera, it's also lighting and backdrop. Those things are all key. And I use, as far as software, I use OBS Streamlabs, which has its faults, but in general is easy to use. If you're into computer programming, you may get more mileage from the traditional OBS, which is a lot more of a pain to set up, but lets you dial in a lot more stuff. All those things. The other thing about Twitch is get to a schedule, stick to it. And the longer you do art, the more views you will tend to get. You bet. No problem. Good luck. Good luck. Twitch did better for me than I ever expected so far, Lowfly, so now it's up to me to grow it. And that's another thing is, like, be happy with however many views you get and always be telling people, you know, hey, if you like this stream, tell your friends. You know, find places to talk to people about what you do. If anybody's looking at your minis, you know, say, hey, I stream this if you want to watch me. This is my schedule, right? That kind of thing. Don't be afraid to talk about your stuff. And this is true of any freelance, whether you're a freelance painter, a streamer, whatever. Everybody's shy to talk about their stuff and what they're doing. You gotta promote. You gotta talk. Get comfortable talking about what you do and say, yeah, come on over and watch. You know, come on over and check out my stuff. That kind of thing. LED light. That's great, D3. Yeah, my ring light is LED. and I like it a lot. And my secondary little light over here is LED. I had to mess with my setup a fair bit until I got something I was happy with on both sides with the right light color. And then of course I'm also by a window on my left, so I have to kind of factor that in. But in general, I'm pretty happy these days with my setup. I think I get pretty good quality. People can see my brush strokes and my wet paint and all the rest of it, so that makes me happy. Gonna set up just a little this little button here. Boop. Yeah, shy is not a term used to describe you, Bug Lips. This is true. Yeah, and don't like always promote yourself into someone else's Twitch stream. Like, if you're really cool, if you go into somebody else's Twitch stream, like if you raid them or something, often they'll invite you to share your stuff, and you should. You should absolutely at that point say, "Hey, this is my Twitch, and this is what I do on it." Most Twitch streamers are really good about that. So even if you only have a tiny raid, even if you've only got 3 people watching you, if you raid somebody else and you're really cool in their channel, then you get the freedom to talk about what you do. But you earn that, right? You earn that by being a good member of the Twitch community. So, and that's true. That's true everywhere because, especially if you're doing a miniature painting in Twitch, there are a lot of us and a lot of us know each other. So like if you're ever kind of a jerk to people, word gets around. It gets around faster than you'd think. So, always be nice to everybody. Always be at least polite to everybody. Take the high road. Always take the high road. Even if somebody's annoyed you, just kind of say, "Oh well, I just won't deal with that person," and I won't just sit and trash them. I won't be mean to them. I'll just kind of let them do their thing. So yeah, it's an interesting world out there for freelancers right now. Very interesting. A lot of people being stuck at home have a little more time to watch, maybe while they're working. People actually looking to get back into hobbies that they maybe didn't have time for before. Yeah. Yes, talk a lot. Be like me. I don't stop. Even when I'm on my own stream. Although I have looked at getting the license just for using for streaming some 80s tunes or something, so we can put on something very softly in the background while I'm painting on my own stream. Because I do explain stuff on my own stream, but I don't quite go to the energy level that I do on here. This stream is definitely instructive. All right, so I like that yellow now, and it's not overwhelming. Let me zoom out and let me focus. Yeah, and that's reading pretty well. Like, the stripes are a nice counterpoint. They draw the eye. The yellow is there, but it's not overwhelming. And the light bright green is a good choice, I think, for this leaf. I'm going to highlight that up, and it's going to draw the eye also. So really the thing is, when you've got a model like this with so much going on, you've got to ask yourself, is everything balanced? I still need to highlight this purple too, also. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm thinking about there's a couple of services out there that essentially take care of the licensing for you. You just pay them per month, and you get the license to use X music, like that are from their library. So I was just looking at one of those because I would like to. I actually really enjoy painting to music, so for my own stream, I thought about doing that, and I like 80s tunes because one, I grew up with them, and two, they tend to be peppy and upbeat and energetic, so it's good stuff to paint to. Unless it's getting close to bed, then I like to zone out. But yeah, so I think that yellow is working really well. We're very close to. Let's just do our. What should I do? Let's actually do the back of this side. Let's do this NMM real quick. Sure, Anne has 15 minutes to do something. Let's do NMM in that 15 minutes. That sounds like Anne. So I use Cloudy Gray always as a base for NMM. So we're going to get our Cloudy Gray. I have brown liner. It's probably going to be good enough for my shadow color. I need some more pure white because I put yellow in my pure white. Mushrooms. Oh, I might have a dog emergency, guys. Yep, I have a dog emergency. Okay, forget the NMM. I'm going to leave you staring at her face, and I'm going to take my dog out super fast. I'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone? Oh, paint for you guys? Oh no, Quindy. I really don't think you guys want to see that. Um, I don't I don't think you want me to sing either. Listen, I will admit there are things that I can do that I feel like I can do exceptionally well. You guys have not requested one of those things yet. Singing and painting are not those things. Oh, perfect. Yeah, D3. All right. Well then, well, you know what? I could direct and kind of color commentate what's going on, like John Madden. Uh, I could really. I don't think that improves it, Quindy. Singing while painting is that's a double whammy. That's not good, and not a double whammy in a good thing, in a good way. I mean, in this circumstance, I don't think two negatives make a positive. Thank you, though, Quindy. Oh, I don't want to do that either, Oval. Although I guess I could. Python is one of the couple of languages I actually know. So, um, on another note, though, I not to bring this back up, but I'm sorry that the general reception for canceled paints is not exactly a good one. I know that people weren't super happy about kind of what had been determined. And that doesn't, like Ann said earlier, that does not mean that it's permanent. So that obviously, if there's enough, response saying, "Hey, actually, we really want this paint back," then I'm sure Ed will place it back. He's he's not crazy. So, my hobbies include basically anything technical. I mean, that's and video games. That's pretty much, and then how they work together. So, like, actually, and I'm glad you bring this up. I think here pretty soon, now that I'm not right on the cusp of a convention planning, I'm actually going to start streaming some more on my own channel. But that's going to be nothing painting related. It'll likely be, various video games. So, perfect. Thank you, Shadow Raven. I do have my own channel, actually. I think John has his own channel too. He streams ZBrush, which is you guys might be more interested in than watching me die over and over again on Tarkov, which is I play that and Path of Exile at this point predominantly. Um, but I believe we still have a command for it. Hold on a second, let me see. Oh, thank you, Bug Lips. That is a callback that I completely forgot about. That is I did stream Tarkov a couple of times, and Quindy and Bug Lips were regularly in there, as well as Avrilina, and I got a couple more people who kind of stopped in. Um, but yeah, it's a great callback. Thank you, Bug Lips. But those are the two channels right there, by the way, that John streams. That's Reaper John, of course, streams ZBrush every now and then. And I'm going to start doing some more stuff, like I said. But if you guys want to obviously give us a follow, that's fine too. I would greatly appreciate it. I think John would too. I think John, at this point, John streams more than I do, mainly because I spend most of my day uh, figuring out technical ways to optimize this stream as well as building the studio. So it's not as much of a decompression period for me to go home and kind of do it some more on my own. But now that there's not as much pressure, like I said, I plan on doing it a bit more. So if you guys want. It would probably represent the kind of random nonsense like channel that we have on Discord where, if you guys decide to take a break from miniature painting, you can do that and make fun of me. I'm completely okay with it. You also might get a glimpse of me as far as cameras go. It doesn't happen too often, but maybe.
Alrighty.
You
Whew.
know what? You should, Bug Lips. I would watch that. I would watch that.
What is Bug Lips doing? Did I miss it?
Bug Lips wants to stream World of Warships. And I would watch that handedly.
And it turned into a stream about inventing new curse words. Yeah, that seems, that's naval. That's appropriately, Navy. There we go. Well, good. Yeah. So here we are. Doglet is now has disaster has been averted, or at least cleaned up, and right, Kiri? Yeah. Silly old dog. We just deal with you. It is the price of owning an old dog. Right, old dog? And she's like, "Where's my salmon?" David had smoked salmon this morning, and she didn't get any because she came into the streaming room. Angry rant for like 2 hours, yeah. Some games be like that. Like, I don't know, David likes puzzle games and jumping games and jump puzzle games and stuff like that. I can never play those. I would be so frustrated.
Speaking of David video games, did you guys play this PoE season league that just came out like 2 weeks ago?
No. Our friend that we tend to play with asked David if he wanted to, but the problem was that David had such an OP character this past season, that he really felt like if he played again this league, he was going to hate whatever he had, because the crafting let him just max his character out, and he was already playing a really good build.
Absolutely.
He was playing Volatile Dead Necromancer, and with the harvest stuff, he honestly had a better character than he's ever had in the game, ever. He's like, yeah, I mean, he could solo Shaper and Elder and all that easily. So he was like, anything else I try this season, that it's never going to be as good. So we're going to skip a season. And I was up with that. I usually fall out of liking Poe, like, after the first, 3 or 4 weeks. Like, I was pretty happy with my build. We did do Elder, so we got up to the high end content, but yeah. So, are you trying it, Justin? Do you like it?
I like it because I don't know if you've seen the theme of it, but it's called Heist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you basically go in, you steal a thing, and then you have contraband that you find in chests and the stuff that the guys drop in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you die on the way out, you can't go back in, and you lose all that contraband.
Hmm.
So I will say that I found, within the first 48 hours of the league, I found 2 different 6 links, both a Tabby and something else. And I lost both dying on the way out.
Oh, no.
It felt kind of like Tarkov in PoE form. It was pretty frustrating, actually.
Interesting.
But it's a loot explosion is what it is. It's kind of the opposite of what the last league was.
Right, where you had to actually craft and learn how to do stuff.
Correct. It's more of a run and gun, loot galore type of league, which is a good contrast because of what the last league was.
Right, yeah. Yes, I will. I wanted to say this afternoon I will be streaming, guys. I have to work on commissions, so I'll probably, for those who missed my last stream where I did black NMM on armor. Isn't it cool? So I need to do that again on this lady and make it look feminine. So we'll be working on that this afternoon on my stream. But yeah, so we're almost done. I just wanted to get this NMM at least blocked in. And we ended up going a little bit late because we had a Kiri emergency and started a little bit late. So I'm going to go for another 5, Justin, and then you can start looking for a raid. I think that should balance us out. I think that should balance out our time and make sure I put in my hour and a half. I need to put in my hour and a half every day. Right, Kiri? And then I need to run to the store. It's my store day. All right, so we're getting our highlights. So what we're doing is we're seeing where our highlights. This is an unusual weapon because it's curved. So you kind of treat it like a cylinder in that way. You've got a highlight, and a highlight at the points of the compass, and a little bit on the tip too. I need.
I don't think so because we've always had sort of both
So
concepts for sensitive and non-sensitive. It's
just
just
a
like
little bit of highlight there,
are classified as which, and I don't think that's something.
and a little bit out here. I need to maybe thin that highlight on the top a little bit. It shouldn't go down that far. And then we need our shadows. Yeah, Path of Exile. Sorry, Val. It reminds me of Diablo in a way. But it's, I don't know. They run a new league. Like, the basic story doesn't really change, but they add new mechanics into every league, which is what? Is they do 4 a year, 3 a year, Justin? Is it every 4 months?
It's every 3 months, or maybe it is every 4 months. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
maybe
remember.
it's 3 leagues a year. I think it's 3 leagues a year.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And next year we should be getting Path of Exile 2.
Oh, the long-awaited Poe 2. We'll see how that is. Have they said, like, are they changing the storyline? Are they, have they said anything about what they're doing with Path of Exile 2?
No, other than they're getting rid of like linking, but I know that it is going to be integrated into the PoE 1. So playing on the end game for both will be the same, and I think you can play with either, whoever wants to play either one, because I think the flavor is up to you.
I see.
But I mean, I imagine most people will just play the PoE 2. I imagine.
Well, yeah, one would hope maybe they update some graphics, or, one would hope that if they're coming out with Poe 2 that they make some significant changes, but I don't know if I trust Poe's developers on that. They seem to be very stuck in their ways.
Right.
They don't seem to like to innovate very much. They have a successful thing and they're just keeping it rolling. Which is, there's stuff to be said for that. She's a great little mini, Garrett. Mighty Garrett. I mean, she's, oh, maybe. I mean, Overwatch 2 is very much going to be a new game, and that is going to have a lot of PvE. But yeah, crossover, so you can still play Overwatch, the original, which, is necessary, because that's what David and I play all the time. I'm very excited for Overwatch 2. I like the skin upgrades for the heroes. And we're going to play the new WoW when it comes out as well, which will be this fall. I play video games in the evening. Still don't have, I know we did start some WoW talk over in the channels on the Discord here, but I need to find a guild to be part of once we start WoW. I know at least one of you said you were a guild master, so maybe we will approach you about, David and I mean, joining your guild. David and I both did some raiding in the past, but we don't have the schedule for it, a full, time raiding schedule now, but we'd be interested in a guild that did do informal raiding. So we'll see. Lots of computer games all over the place coming out. There we go. So we've got some nice highlights going on. I'm getting more shadows. I need to pay attention to where my shadows are on this side. I put a little bit of green to reflect the ground on the other side, so I may want to do that again here. I do need to carry my shadow a little bit more around here. Yeah, the new WoW Shadowlands looks pretty awesome, actually. Anything to do with Sylvanas being a badass. I'm an Alliance fan, but I still love to hate Sylvanas, so. But yeah, Shadowlands looks like the story's going to be really good, so I'm looking forward to it. Ah, I see, Val. Yeah, that seems to be the way. I mean, multi-game guilds seem to be kind of the way of, because gamers are so limited attention span. You get into a game, and then you're into it big time for, 2-3 months, and then you want to go and try something else. You don't want to just play the one thing. So, seems logical to me that gamers would gravitate toward that. Yeah, Bandara, I lost a lot of time to WoW in the early days of WoW, so now I've gotten to the point where it's very easy for me to put it down. So I can look forward to the new expansion just because of that, where it's like, yeah, I can enjoy this, but it's WoW. I can put it down. It's not addictive to me like it was in the old days. Especially now with all the stuff I've got going on in life now. I've got so much to work on and so much to be involved in my real life that I don't need my fake life anymore. Yeah, I used to raid about 4 nights a week, Polaris. That was back in vanilla. Vanilla up to Lich King. I was a raider. We were in the top 5 or 6 on our server, I think, at that time. But that was when it was 40-man raids, and it just became impossible for a guild to sustain that, and it was, ages before they added the scaled down raid numbers. So I moved on, and then I was just casual WoW for a long time. But I still enjoy it. Oh yeah, Old Timers Guild. Yeah, I think I looked at their application process, but they, for some reason, like, it's hard to get into their guild, or it was. Maybe not as hard now, because it seems like a lot of the guilds were hurting for members, but, I posted and I remember investigating that guild and maybe posting to try to get into it, and I never really got much response, so. There we go. Now we've got some nice shiny side going on here. Yeah, I guess it depends on what your goals are. For me, I always like to see the advancement of the story, and the reason that I didn't get into War for Azeroth is just that I've been wowed out a bit. I just wasn't in the mood. I wasn't in the mood for another War with the Horde. Although I hear the story is good. It also, there's a lot of Jaina, and Jaina Proudmoore is my least favorite character. And the previous expansion had been good enough. I guess kind of like Poe for me there. The previous expansion had been good enough that I just didn't feel the need to go to one. And I heard the mechanics were kind of screwed for this one. I was like, all right, I'm going to skip it. Yeah, real life makes it hard to get people together. I mean, even for a freaking 5-person role-playing game, it's hard to get people together. And try to get 20 people together for a raid. And then, when you do, if you don't have success right away, then people fall off because they want easy success. That happened also to me. It is what it is. Like I said, I'm not, addicted to WoW anymore. I used to be. But I wasn't, real happy with my life at the time I was addicted to WoW. And when I got happy with my life, then at that point, it became very easy for me to put WoW down. There we go. Oh yeah, I played SWTOR. But I only played it for 5 months, 6 months. It was okay. I liked it. Didn't get me. I guess after being addicted to WoW for, 7 or 8 years, after that, I don't know, my brain kind of had a come to Jesus meeting with my psyche and went, you really can't afford to do this if you want to get anything done in life. And the rest of my psyche was like, oh, you're right. And then after that, when I try these MMORPGs, it's just for fun. I know that it's only going to stick for maybe at most a couple months, and then I'm going to get back to what I want to be doing, with other stuff, so with real life. Yeah, daily quests are such a grind. And it is, it was worth it in Pandaria, in WoW Pandaria, for me to grind, because I wanted those Oriental Dragon mounts, and I was willing to do it. Still my favorite mount. But, yeah, in general. Hey, time's new. You are new. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. Welcome to the hobby. Time's new. Yeah, I've been a long time. My name is Anne. I created Reaper's Master Series paint line, and I still work for them part-time. I moved out to the West Coast to be with my guy, so I'm no longer a full-time Reaper employee, but I am here, and I've been painting for a long time. There may have been dinosaurs back when I started, just to give you an idea. But yeah, so I do this stream, and actually we're at the end of it right now, but I do it from 11:30 to 1 on every weekday up here on Reaper Miniatures Twitch. So if you are interested in learning a lot about miniature painting, I do a pretty education intensive stream. I explain everything about what I'm doing. I talk about paint consistency and color choices and stuff like that. So if you are into that, look us up. Pop in at 11:30 a.m. Central on the Reaper Twitch. And I'll be streaming this afternoon, just a reminder, guys, at about 4:30 p.m. Central Time on my own Reaper or my own Twitch, twitch.tv/paintingbig, which is my own little thing, own little brand. Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, I mean, GW stuff, if you're doing Twitch, is always a good thing, Low-Fly. And Dreadnoughts are also big projects with a lot of details that you can do on them, so it can last for a while, so it's a good long project. Probably, think about, like, the interesting things about it that like, could attract people to your stream, like, how do you clean it, how do you prep it, like, tips for gluing it together neatly, stuff like that. Think about what you can add to your stream that will give it added value for your viewers. And maybe, think about what chapter might be hot right now and paint it in that chapter's livery. Those are all good strategies. Yeah, you realize you can play every other game or play WoW. Yeah, that's my problem with WoW. Like, although these days it's not too bad. Like, I can log on and do a quest or two and be done. So in that way, I find WoW easy to pick up and put down for small bits. But I don't know if I'm going to be frustrated with the new expansion simply because I don't have a lot of time to play computer games these days. I don't allot myself much time to play computer games. Because, after we make supper, and then I have to go and exercise, because I have to keep myself healthy. And then by the time I come back, we've got maybe an hour and a half to play at a time. And then I have to, like, do my exercises and get ready for bed. Take Kiri out, do that stuff. I don't have a lot of time to computer game anymore. So that's why we play a lot of Overwatch, because I love Overwatch, but also because, an average game takes between 10 and 20 minutes, so I can fit in, a lot of matches in my hour and a half and, enjoy myself. So we'll see how the new WoW expansion goes for David and I. He hasn't played since Pandaria, so we'll see if we enjoy it or not. We'll at least enjoy playing and getting our characters up to the next level cap, I expect. And hey, we'll never have to worry about running out of rested XP. Oh dear. Yeah, rating. Yeah, that was a huge amount of time. If you had 2 level 60s in Vanilla Bandar, wow, you outdid me. Oh, Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, I really like, I used to play. I played 14 when it came out, and it was a hot mess. And I still liked parts of it. I liked a lot of the story. I liked, I'm a story person, though. Like, my guy, David, he's not. He likes mechanics. So Final Fantasy 14, definitely not for him, but I may go back to it at some point. But then it all comes back to not having a lot of time for video games, right? I have to be really choosy about what games I play. And most of the time, I want to play with David, so... We're unlikely. I showed him some video footage and stuff about Final Fantasy 14, but it's not his cup of tea. Okay, yeah, no problem, Dragonite. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. I've got my scythe, pretty much done. I just need to get some green in there, which we can do when we're dealing with the greens on the plants. But we got closer. We're closer, guys. We're closer to having her done. So we'll come back and... tomorrow, I think I am going to do some yellow on the flowers just to repeat colors, and probably some purple also because I need to do some purple highlighting on that canister. So yeah, cool, everybody. Thank you for. Oh, the main story is agonizingly slow. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I'm going to add some green to the sickle because there has to be both plant blood on it, and it's going to be reflecting the ground color. Just like it is on the front. It's got some green in there, see? So yeah, we'll come back to her tomorrow. I want to get this model done. Ron is apparently, like, drooling over her and wants her in his collection, so I will oblige him. And yeah, who's out there for us to raid right now? Anybody cool,
I,
Justin?
I think we're going to be rating Zambies.
Oh, all right. That sounds great. Zambies always comes to visit us, so it's nice when we visit her back. Yes, plant blood. Exactly, Sidestorm. Oh, where's my focus? There's my focus. Ta-da! So yeah, we got the yellow done. I'm much happier with it now. That was just like sticking out at me going, oh noes. So yeah, come on back tomorrow. Come see me this afternoon, guys. I'm trying to get my my numbers up and everything. So over on twitch.tv/paintingbig. And I'll be working on some black NMM and maybe some red. I don't know. I gotta work on. I gotta get these models blocked in and get some serious work done on them. So, woohoo! All right, have fun, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you guys very much. Don't forget, this afternoon is Proctor Show, Clever Crow, and I believe his guest today, his interview today, is yours truly. So, yeah, he wanted to interview me today. So, I guess if you guys want to tune in and kind of see what's going on with Proctor and whatever questions he's going to ask me, that'll be at 4 p.m. Central. Thank you guys very much. Keep being awesome. And I'm getting ready to plead the fifth. Thank you guys. See you later.